Hey, Jim here from 3J Music. So it's not always gear demos here. Occasionally I like to do a video based on opinion or with the intent to open up a discussion. This is one of those occasions. Before I go any further, just let me say that this is not political at all. I don't care about your politics and you shouldn't care about mine. And any overly political comments or bashing or anything like that in the comment section will be unanswered, ignored, and deleted. With that being said, there's a lot of concern in the guitar community recently about the fate and future of budget guitars. I've seen some other channels talking about it. I noticed it last week. It came up on a Texas Toast live stream, and the topic was guitar trends that are going away or something to that effect. Anyway, I commented during that live stream that I thought the $500 to $1,000 guitar market was going away, in a sense, at least as we know it. For a while now, the guitar market's been flooded with these more inexpensive guitars, cheap guitars from China. Again, not political, that's just where they make everything. And now, within the last week or so, there's been some concern in the guitar community with potential incoming tariffs. I think that's both of the dirty words out of the way now. And what these tariffs will do to the guitar market. Anyway, a lot of these cheaper guitars come from these Chinese companies that aren't even necessarily, guitar companies or music companies. I remember looking at one of the popular cheaper guitars on Amazon around this time last year, and if you went to that company's store, they sold everything from guitars to extension cords. So there's that. Some of them are dedicated guitar companies. Some of them are individuals who are designing guitars and then having the plans sent there to have the guitars built. And then there's a lot of our well-known guitar brands and companies with their name recognition that are having guitars built there, and they're a little more expensive in most cases than these cheaper ones. Lots of decent guitars anyway, some better than others. And while this has been going on, the cost of some of the guitars made in other countries, such as Indonesia, have been creeping up. In the past year, we've seen Chinese-made Epiphones and Indonesian-made PRSSEs upwards of $1,500. These aren't the only ones. These are just two of the most notable brands. And in most cases, these are great guitars. But these prices have been creeping up for a while now. We've been on this path for some time, and it's rubbed some people the wrong way. And needless to say, while this has been going on, obviously the price of guitars made in the US have really been on the rise as well. And it just makes me wonder where all of you stand on this. I know there's a lot of people who take great pride in the best bang for the buck. Best features and specs. Maybe they're Harley Bentons or their Fireflies, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's other people out there who only want to buy US, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Maybe you're not from the US. Maybe you want to buy from your own country or your part of the world. But I'm curious, as these prices start to rise, these guitars that are $100 or $200 now are going to potentially rise up to 300, 400. Will you still feel the same about your budget guitar if you're paying 50% more than you have been? Will that change your position on what you buy? Where from will you think for just a little bit more I can get this, or are you already set in your ways? Are you already a brand loyalist, or a part of the world loyalist? The truth is we can't say exactly what's going to happen price-wise to these brands, or if some of these newer or unknown brands will have to go away or just choose to go away. Will some of them just disappear? That's a possibility if it gets to where the prices aren't worth it for them. And it makes me wonder if it's worth it to you. I've done a lot of guitar reviews this year. Some really notable guitars would be the, like for example, the PRS SE CE 24 satin. It's a mouthful. Excellent guitar for $500, and I could see where that would still be worth the satin model, still be worth it if the price went up $100 or so. They also have the models with the flame maple top and the sandblasted. Now, those would be the models creeping up more toward the $1,000 range, excuse me. And I wonder if those would still be worth it to people. There was a Ibanez RG series guitar that I reviewed earlier this year also, that I also thought was a great guitar that would probably still be worth it for $100 more. Or the LTD M201, also a great guitar at a great price. That was, I believe those were right around the $500 mark new. Still great guitars, but I personally don't know how much more I would pay for them. So anyway, that's kind of one of my big questions to you. You guys who like the Harley Bentons or the Fireflies or the Donners or the Squires, or a lot of others. Would you still like those guitars as much if they became the $500 to $1,000 guitars? And for what's left in the $500 to $1,000 range, do you feel those would be worth it going up over $1,000? I think this is an interesting discussion because guitar players, more so than any other business or hobby, especially hobby, tend to have very definite opinions on what they'll spend and what's worth it to them. And I was one of those people for a long time. I would never spend more than X amount of dollars on a guitar. I definitely got over that X amount. So I'd like to hear your take. Let's discuss.